need. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-452-1075. 800-452-1075. That's 800-452-1075.
There we go.
Oh, wait.
No.
Okay.
So,
here I am.
thinking, I actually I kind of have a long weekend, 3 days off in theory.
Really?
Man, yeah. I just don't feel as rested as I thought I would. Man, I don't know. Could have been the pie judging
I think you were working Sunday. I don't think you were off.
I think it was the pie throwdown, I believe.
I'm just road weary, y'all. I'm just road weary.
I'm not even talking about the driving part.
The driving part. That's the easy part.
That is the easy part. As a matter of fact, that's when I don't have to talk to anyone.
That's right. Windshield time.
I didn't. I'm sorry. I didn't hear the phone ringing. I'm sorry. Right. Hey, welcome back to Spoony Radio. This is Chef Patrick Mosher, the Food Biz Pro. We have Derry O'Connor.
Hello.
Oh, from no, I almost said something wrong there. It's from Try This Dish Radio.
Try This Dish Radio. Yes.
Yes.
Try This Dish Radio.
And you're gonna be changing days and times. We don't know what time yet, but you were on Wednesdays, which will be tomorrow.
Yes.
And then we're
tomorrow.
we're gonna punt down the road and figure something out for next week.
Now, tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, Sean will be in studio. It will be our regular show time.
Is he bringing the dog?
I don't say it. He might be listening.
No, I would love to have a co-host
Hair dog,
right here.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So he's going to join us tomorrow, and Andy will also join us with Pardon My Fork as we wrap up the Final Table Radio Media Blitz that we've been doing, which today is the final episode.
Table. It's the final pre-final table final.
The pre-final title. Say that fast 3 times.
So we have another guest in studio, Mike McLeod. You're the president and CEO
Correct.
of the World Food Championships.
Bottom line,
Yeah.
I just make sure the checks don't bounce.
Make sure ours doesn't bounce. Yeah, that's good.
The event continues to roll, and the time clocks go to zero. That's about it.
Well, it's like I'm basically still chief cook and bottle washer on here, except we don't have a full kitchen, so I don't have to cook very much, just wash dishes.
Hey, you bought us drinks. We're good. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah. Hey, Scottish and Irish heritage there.
That's right.
We'll have a little Jameson's Irish Whiskey Caskmates, the stout edition. So it's basically Jameson's triple distilled, and then they age it. I don't know how long. It's quite a while. They age it in the barrels, though. So I'll let you pour your own because I overpour.
There you go.
Or so I'm told.
So can I go ahead and suggest that you ask all the tough questions first?
Yeah.
There are no tough questions.
Okay.
It's all fun.
You've been through this before. I don't think there's any. There's no. Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
There could be a
We
few.
can find something.
There could be a few.
There could be a few.
I'm thinking maybe there might be 2-3 people out there that don't know what the World Food Championships is all about.
Shame
So,
on them.
Mike McLeod, I always like to hear your rundown. So, for anyone out there that hasn't heard about it, how would you explain it? And I know what the story is, but go ahead.
This is always the toughest question because the World Food Championships has, as we build out a food sport league, we've tried to take and rob all the great ideas from all the great sports leagues that exist, whether it's playoffs in football or March Madness in basketball. Both those avenues work for us as people are qualifying into our championship and then going to what we consider the Super Bowl of food. But it's also a very similar to the Westminster Kennel Club, where you have best of breed and then best of show. Only we eat the protein.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the World Series of Poker, where you have this massive hysteria and all these people trying to compete, betting on luck and betting on their chances, and they try to make it down to, first of all, in the money, and then at the final table. So as a ex-athlete and someone who just follows all these sports and believes that competition food is a sport in and of itself, with all these great athletes who are culinary artisans, we basically robbed from Peter to pay Paul and put all this together and created the World Food Championships. And
Pretty awesome.
8 years into it now, and we've awarded over $2 million
Amazing.
to great competitors who have won various categories and then ultimately won the final table. And here we are 2 weeks out from our most recent edition of the final table, where we had a chance to make some strategic changes. So I'm sure we'll talk about that. But World Food Championships is really the ultimate food fight. It is the opportunity for home cooks professional chefs, line chefs, executive chefs. We don't care what your pedigree is. We don't care where you come from. As long as you love cooking and you've got a passion for it and you happen to be good at a particular vertical that we call it, you've got a chance. You have an equal playing field, an equal opportunity to come prove that you are the best at barbecue or burger or dessert or steak, and take home some money, meet some great sponsors to hopefully get a sponsorship, ambassador program type thing, and be on TV. So it's the place where if you don't have an agent and you don't have Hollywood connections and you're not just cherry picked out of some school or whatever, you can come in and earn your own way to the top. So that's what the World Food Championships is all about. We love it. We are focusing on it 100% right now. We're going into our 8th championship in Dallas in October, and we're really excited about it. So sorry that couldn't be shorter.
No, that was actually good. So,
Perfect.
if you don't make it to the top, though, you end up here. Just saying.
Like me.
No. Well,
No.
you're just a guest. You're just a guest. Some of us
Well, this is
spend a lot of time.
Yeah, and this is the first year in Dallas, which is a huge move for the World Food Championships. So if you guys want to find out more about the event, you can head over to worldfoodchampionships.com. Find them on Facebook, World Food Championships. They're going to be needing volunteers up here too, and you will work for food. So, anyways, let's check it out.
Not
For
only
tickets.
that, so we talked about this pie event on Sunday,
I wasn't
which
here.
was at the
Jelly Queens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Donna, she's like she's so sweet. I don't know how she
don't
can
know.
hold that
She's a
up
jelly queen,
all
of course.
the time.
She's like bread and butter mixed together with a little jam on top.
Aw, that's
I
sweet.
mean, she's
That's
a
awesome.
delicious human being.
She's very
and,
sweet.
and you can't get enough of her. And she's infectious. She's helpful. She's friendly, and she's talented.
She really is. I'm telling you.
That pie is beautiful. Ooh,
She said.
somebody made it.
So she was on another show, obviously, and when she went off, they were like, "You have to pursue this," and she
Well,
did.
She did.
She's one of like best condiment in the world for her. What's the black garlic balsamic
Ooh.
spread? Oh my
haven't
God,
tried
she
that.
would not leave that with me. By the way, that's the only one she took home.
She may be, with all due respect to folks like Randy White, she may be the most winning culinary artisan in Dallas. I think she's won tons and tons of jelly contests. So
She's one. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
and rightfully so. I can't pick what my favorite jam of hers is always the one that she's serving.
That's fun. I love it. That's really that's the only way to say it.
I mean, because every one of them is so good and great flavors, great combinations. She has a culinary genius mind, and I will eat anything she puts in front of me.
Well, I'll tell you, she brought that black garlic balsamic.
Ooh, I'm gonna
Whatever
try
that was, it was like heaven in a jar. But then she also brought some wagyu brisket.
Yeah, from her neighbors at the meat shop.
Meat shop, yep.
Where Keith Browning, the chef, just won the Dallas Observer Iron Fork last
nice.
week. Fantastic new addition to food sport.
Now, did he get?
He got a golden ticket. He's going to be competing in October. I think he's already nervous. I went over to see him on Cinco de Mayo. And as soon as I walked in, he started asking me questions about the main event. So while he was
Gotta
flipping
love it.
Wagyu and serving 30 or 40 people, and it was just fantastic to see his face light up when he talked
Yeah.
about his victory at Iron Fork. He said it was the most fun chef challenge he'd ever been involved with. He said it wasn't hokey, but it was serious and it was fun. So really happy to have him on board and see him in October this year, see how he does.
Well, on Sunday.
On Sunday.
Yeah, on Sunday. So we another golden ticket was issued. Was awarded.
That's right.
Yep. And oh my goodness,
Lindsay.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, because she was against Bob the baker.
The baker, that's
yes,
right.
Yes. So
Both of them did two fantastic
Wow.
pies.
you should. Yeah.
Why
you
wouldn't
see,
I hear
my
her?
notepad is. Did you notice
How'd I
my
miss all of
notepad and
this?
pen are right here? But well, I'll tell you what. The pies. There were supposed to be 3. Only 2 competitors made it. But I'll tell you what. That was two of the best bites of pie I've ever had. But the winner, wow, that she had so I had to close my eyes because I can taste it right now. It was a lemon grapefruit meringue pie. And it was just unbelievable. But the meringue wasn't meringue. And she didn't call it meringue when she described it, which is good because we would have busted her. But she called it a marshmallow fluff sort of.
Oh, there you go.
Marshmallow fluff sort of. And then she had charred it, she bruleed it on the top. It was awesome.
I was going to say in the last segment today, which will be between 2 and 3, around that time, we're going to push forward and talk more about the main event in October. So right now, we'll get into like how people could maybe still get in to compete if everything's closing up, but we'll talk a little bit about that and about tickets and things. So right now, let's talk about where the final table is going to be held and the dates for that and a little bit about that, Mike.
So the final table is going to be in New Orleans. We have a very interesting process for the 10 champions this year.
It's exciting.
It's the first time we've done it this way. We've got... we're switching from a category versus category strategy to a basically cooking strategy. Just like they do at the main competition, the 10 champions will have to navigate their way through 3 challenges. We have some phenomenal culinary legends plugged into the final table. The first one is going to be taking on an Eggs Benedict challenge with a Cajun or Creole flavor. And the folks at Noki, where we're doing this, New Orleans Hospitality and Culinary Institute, which is brand new, backed by Emerald and the Brennan family.
Nice.
Those guys.
Yeah,
there.
those guys.
All those little small
whatever.
They'll be setting up 2 labs, and we've got one of their classrooms that we'll be doing our presentation and judging in. It's going to be standing room only. We broke our own promise of not putting more than 100 people on the invite list. Everyone who kept asking to be there was someone that we could not say no to. So it's probably going to be about 120 to 130 people. Some people are just going to have to trade chairs occasionally and stand up in the back. But it's going to be a phenomenal moment. All 10 contestants will try to do this great Eggs Benedict challenge. We will judge that with 5 fantastic judges, Katie Dixon being one of them. A couple of chefs from New Orleans, and Ryan Rondino, I think you may know him. Chef J.D. Eubanks, and we've got a Cisco chef, and perhaps one of our ambassadors. I am thinking about putting a WFC ambassador in as the 5th judge, but I haven't even told them that, so they're going to learn that here first time. So they will judge the field, and 5 of the individuals will move on to the second challenge. Second challenge, which they will get a taste of that night, Saturday night. This is going to be a long day for them. I think they arrive at 9 a.m. in the morning at Noki, and then at 9:30 at night, they will be over with me and Dickie Brennan trying Redfish Bienville from Dickie Brennan's Tableau restaurant, trying to pick it apart, dissect it, and then they're going to, if they can sleep, they're going to sleep on it. And the next morning, those 5 contestants will have to serve their best replication of that dish. So we're taking something off of a menu. They have to show that they can dissect it, understand it, recreate it. And then the top 3 scores from that challenge will move on to the third and final challenge. And that's when we will take them to the oldest family-owned restaurant in America, Antoine's, in the French Quarter. And they will meet Rick Blunt, who is the 5th generation CEO, and executive chef Rich Lee. They'll get to find out some cool things about Antoine's. I don't know if you know this, but Oyster Rockefeller was created there. And it is not what you typically see in restaurants.
Nope, a little different.
The original Oyster Rockefeller is quite different and unique. And so they'll get to taste that, and then they'll hear what their challenge is at that moment. So those 3 will come back to Noki. So they got 2 cooks on Sunday. They got the long day on Saturday, and then the tasting Saturday night if they make it through. And then they got 2 cooks on Sunday, and then somewhere around 6 p.m. Sunday night, we will announce the winner, and we're going to sequester that moment for the first time in our history. the World Food Champion will not be revealed until the TV show comes out on August 24th on CNBC.
I'm writing that down now.
August 24th, CNBC.
You heard it here.
And I did every bit of that without looking at
I know.
notes.
Oh, my
That was pretty
goodness.
good. So actually,
August
listeners, I'm not trying to be rude over. I'm making sure that I change the metadata, the tags for everything, so
Yeah.
everybody sees it when it's going out live right now. Because if I wait too long, then the show's over. And if it's just me, it's not a problem. But when we're talking about, the World Food Championships, and of course, Try This Dish Radio,
Yeah.
that's who's making
CNBC.
Spoony right here.
That's right.
So it's going to air August 24th, and that's when we're going to win
CNBC.
who won the $100,000 grand prize.
That's exactly right.
Party.
The winners are going to take home, all 10 winners or 10 champions that weekend will take home money. And we've also sent them stipends to get to New Orleans. So this is turning into a little bit of a vacation strategy for the final table, because if this goes well, our game plan is to take the final table on the road every year, do it in a great culinary destination,
Great.
send
Yeah,
our champions there, help them get there, and then I think the worst score, the 10th place, will take home a $500, $750 check, something like that. That I don't recall because I keep focusing on the six-figure
Yeah.
top line, but it steps up and it increases along the way, and even though we're not going to announce the first place winner, they're going to be under a very restrictive
House
NDA,
arrest.
and they are going to be able to take home their first installment of the $100,000, and second and third will be taken home at, I think, at least 50% of their winnings. We retain the rest of it until the date of the TV show, and the next day we release the checks to make sure that, or the process kicks back in. Trying to keep it as confidential as we can. We've never
It's
had
called leverage.
Right.
That's a good way to look
Well,
at
I
it.
mean,
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's that's one of the hardest things. So, I have a friend in town who happened to win another show, a really big one, top 10 moment on that show, and it took it won't be that long for you guys, but because I know it's your first time you're doing this, and it took a year, almost 13 months before it ever aired, and he couldn't say a word. Not a single word.
That's the way most of these reality shows are, especially if they're 13 episodes, and we
Several seasons ahead.
We've never been in a position to play that game, and we're not doing that over an episodic approach. But this is our first foray down that path, and it's going to be interesting to see how it works. We hope that everyone in Food Sport Nation who is trying to help us with the Rising Tide strategy will tune in to CNBC when it airs, and give some props and kudos to the winners and all the participants along the way, and especially at that moment. But we're excited about this. We think it has some legs, and it has strategic value to the overall mission of the World Food Championships. And our mission has always been to identify and elevate great culinary artisans. So what better way to do that and announce the winner on a TV show? So we're excited.
No, I think it's awesome.
Yes, I think so too. And this is the second year where the final table's been bookended for the WFC. And I know a lot of people had mixed emotions about it because it's kind of fun to go to the event, but it adds so much more to actually just for the champions to be able to prepare for the final table and stuff. So it's just a neat concept, and every year it can change. And the thing that's different this year is they're not cooking a category dish. It's like they're going,
Right.
so it really levels the playing field, which I think it's instead of a cake coming up against a steak or whatever. So I really love the idea, Mike.
So and instead
It's
of
cool.
it's until the last dish, it's apples to apples to some extent. At least it's got to be a similar style of
Right.
dish. But that last one, I'll tell you, the $100,000 grand prize is cool, but we spoke about this, and we won't tell you how it happened, but getting a dish on Antoine's menu that hasn't added a dish in 100 years, folks.
Right.
Not a single dish has been added to the menu in 100 years. Think about that. And the restaurant's still thriving.
Right.
But you you negotiated something it's beneficial to everyone, and man, that's awesome.
Well, it's if I'd have thought about it from that perspective, we probably would have messed it up.
Where's that cake at?
But we we approached Antoine's and Rick and his executive chef Rich and basically shared with them what our mission is. And I think they just really were moved by the mission. They were moved by the fact that we're trying to help chefs, we're trying to discover chefs, we're trying to elevate chefs. The dirty little secret in all of these food events that exist in America, like the Taste of Dallas, I don't think there is. There might be a Taste of Dallas, but there's a Taste of Nashville, Taste of Asheville, everything. The truth is, chefs have a hard time working these events. They don't. It's not something they look forward to because it's a lot of work. Even though they look like they're front and center, they're still having to pump out 1,000, 2,000 dishes. So the only place where a chef gets to be main stage is when he or she gets to be on a TV show or gets to perform like they are for the World Food Championships. And our event is so different from anything that you go to. It really is hard to explain, even though we spent a few minutes doing that early on. The Rubik's Cube aspect of it is kind of cool, but the family aspect of these chefs coming together and they see each other once a year, almost like a high school reunion or family reunion. First of all, it's like brothers and sisters because they all share the same trials and tribulations and have to jump the same hurdles and deal with the same issues in the food business. So this is why I think they've aggregated toward the World Food Championships and have really embraced this overall concept and hang on to all of the new developments that are occurring. So once I conveyed that to Antoine's who we are and what we're trying to do, the light bulb went off, and it was like, what if we put something on the menu? And that was a pretty cool moment.
Well, I just think it's not that we're going to get something. We're plotting to get something on Antoine's menu. It's been 100 years. No, but there's a genius in that because that's a lifetime of exposure for someone. And you're right. Chefs don't get a lot of recognition. We work in. I don't know if you've ever worked in New York City in a restaurant. If you start out in prep, you're in the dungeon, man. You're downstairs, lights flickering and water's dripping and fans blowing, and it never gets any cooler. Yeah, scrambling every time you walk towards. Well, yeah, kind of actually. Sort of, yeah. But you don't even. I worked at some really big restaurants, Gladstone's in L.A., and worked for some other big chefs, and it's tough. It's a full-time, dirty, grimy, hot. Dangerous job, and we don't get to go out much. The average chef doesn't get to go out and walk the floor and say, "Hey, how you doing? Nice to see you."
Right.
And a lot of times they can't even get out of the kitchen to address an issue. But that's just the coolest prize ever that I've heard of. That was the thing is, as a chef, I couldn't think of. Nope. Ooh. She calling?
Ooh, no, I was just going to get I was just going to give a rundown before we have our break here. So the guest that we have on today is the world chicken champ, Lydia Hadadian.
Yep, which I'm putting up now.
From Pasadena, California. She's watching right now. Get ready to call in, Lydia.
Well, the phones are live when she wants to call in.
She has a great story, and I actually have known her from the World Food Championships, and when Mom and I were traveling back from Orange Beach, we ran into her in Buc-ee's. Hey, we took some selfies. It was fun.
Buc-ee's is a legend around here.
Oh, I'm telling you.
She's awesome. So she's coming up, you guys, here in the next half. And Andy Imhoff is going to be calling in. We kind of had to cross wires. I'm not sure exactly when he's going to call in, but he'll be calling in. He is the host of Pardon My Fork. So he'll be calling in. And so we're going to talk more about Miss Lydia here in the next segment. So come on back.
Oh yeah, and I'll keep watching the
time. He's got the time
clock. We got a minute left. So
we got 1 minute left.
You talk about really quickly this group of characters that participate. Characters, I mean, in the best way. Yeah. These participants and competitors, they are like a family. I ran into you at the NRA show last year. I met Mark first, Mark Conway, and then Mark Lane and Vanessa. Oh, Vanessa wasn't there, but with KA, and now Mark's doing his own show on Spoony, and that's how I met Derry, and that's how we met Andy and Randy White's now doing a show, and I have to be honest. If it weren't for the WFC, we'd have a channel. We wouldn't have like 24-hour programming though. It'd be a much smaller format, and I mean it's kind of selfish, but thank you. You know, it's
Thank you, Mike McLeod.
well, but for bringing
Yeah.
these competitors to an event.
Just keep sending the royalty checks. It's all fine. It's all good.
Yeah. You get 10% of all net profits for the next 6 months.
That's right.
This has been a wonderful development for you, for me, for a lot of people.
That's
so we're
awesome.
going to keep doing it.
All right. Hey, we'll be right back. Chef Patrick Mosher, the Food Biz Pro, with I have lots of special guests today.
Follow Chef Patrick Mosher on Twitter @FoodBizPro.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-218-6473. 800-218-6473. 800-218-6473. That's 800-218-6473.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American-made and serve those who serve us. Our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com. Use promo code MATT, M-A-T-T, and get 15% off your purchase.
Dr. Ken Brown here, host of Gut Check Project with my co-host Eric Rieger. I've seen in my practice that Atrantil is a whole lot more than just a bloating product.
Yes, it does a whole lot more than just fix bloating because of the polyphenols that you find in Atrantil.
What are some of the things that these polyphenols do, Eric?
These polyphenols can help you have more energy, and polyphenols are great for athletes.
It sounds like it's going to help a whole lot more people than just bloating. Go to lovemytummy.com/Spoony.
And welcome back. As what does Randy call you? Spoonies. Welcome back, Spoonies.
Spoonies.
I'd like to say spooners, but too much spooning leads to forky. So
Oh, my
we're
God.
gonna call it.
Get
We're like,
it.
what are we gonna call the channel? Doc and I are coming up with all these names.
Oh, no.
I'm like, we're like Forky. He's like, dude, that's way too risky. It's gonna have to be
bourbon
nighttime
involved?
only. We'll have all these weird sponsors. Nobody, Yeah, it didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
No, not really.
I think you did the smart thing.
Well,
It's gonna work out
it
great.
sounds funny. We just couldn't think of anything. We tried for like knifeandfork.com, knifey.com, blah, blah, blah.
Maybe you should just float a PR about changing the name and just see if it gets some traction out there.
Yeah, we're not changing the name. Well,
You know how it
maybe
is.
if the price is right, we might. You never know.
Yeah.
We never
If
know.
money's involved, it could happen.
I think we do have Lydia on the phone, though. Let's make sure here.
Lydia.
Lydia, is that you? Oh, you know what? Let's make sure. Hey, Ron, can you make sure the phones are unmuted? I may have overlooked. So here's the deal. When I try to engineer my own show, and I'm going to run out real quick, okay? Y'all talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, well, we'll talk amongst ourselves.
Absolutely.
So we got Lydia.
Derry's used to interviewing me anyway.
Oh, yeah. I'm old hat at this still. I don't think there's anything I don't know about you, Mike. But you could probably.
I hope there is.
All right, yeah. There's probably a few secrets left. Let's say hi to Tucker.
Hi, Tucker.
Hey, Chelsea.
I miss you, both of you.
Daddy will be home soon.
Tucker is he is becoming
so
quite the
cute.
athlete already. We got him a t-ball set for Easter.
Yeah.
And we had to go to a Nerf ball because he was slapping the ball around so hard that we began wondering about all the glass in the house. We're getting scared. He can hit the ball. He was 16 months old yesterday.
Wow.
He has the facial expressions. I'm telling you, I think they look just like you. Some of those ones he made. He's just darling.
He's used to the selfie format
Yeah.
already because every time we hold a camera up to him, he goes.
He has his face going.
He has his own, my mouth is open moment.
Well, the phones are live now. Lydia, are you
Lydia.
there?
Hi, guys.
Hey, there we go.
Derry, Mike.
Hi.
Patrick.
Nice to be here.
Nice to have you here.
Congratulations on your win, too, Lydia. And we're just so glad to have you here. And you're the final guest that we have for our Final Table Radio Media Blitz. We saved I don't want to say the best for last. I'll get in trouble.
Well, I was gonna say I can say that because nobody knows me really, but
Gosh.
I'm teasing.
Lydia, this is Mike. Can you believe the moment is almost here?
I cannot believe it. It's pretty awesome. Feeling great. Yes.
I have one key question for you. How many secret
Go
trips?
for it.
How many secret trips to New Orleans have you made?
Zero.
Oh.
Zero secret trips.
Confidence. That's good. I like it.
Yes. Yeah, it's crazy. A major adrenaline rush. I'm trying to dream the taste of certain dishes.
Well,
Yeah.
You probably have a better dreaming state than I do. So hopefully that helps you out. But when you get there, it's going to be quite interesting. I hope you can make it to that Redfish Bienville moment where you'll get.
I sure hope so.
You'll get to meet Dickie Brennan if you do, and taste one of their famous dishes. It's been on the menu forever, and learn why it's been there. It's just a delicious item. So I'm looking forward to that moment.
I like Patrick to say that dish because last week I couldn't say that dish very well.
Snapper Bienville.
You said it differently. You said it with your French accent.
Bienville.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't even know if that's right. I'm just like,
Sounds good to me.
Like in Fig's accent.
It sounds more delicious.
It's like Kevin Klein. I'm not really French, but I could probably pretend to.
Okay.
So I have a question for you, Lydia. You have had a lot of wins, like 40 plus,
Yeah.
in lots of different arenas, and. What inspired you to go into food competition, food sport, instead of just,
Cooking.
spending that extra time at home with the family, or sleeping?
Yeah, that's you nailed it. Spending that extra time at home with the family, I would say, is the beginning of the inspiration. I was home. I homeschooled for 13 years, and once my baby graduated and entered college, I thought, okay, now what? Got a grandkid to take care of. So I thought, what am I good at? And basically I decided to get into food, and I happened to cross a very small food competition in 2010, and that was my first win, not a very big one. It was an apron. I still have it.
I love that.
And so from 2010 to 2014, I only won 9 contests. So that was I was very busy. But I think 2015 was when I started doing this, like, I would say not part-time, maybe quarter of my time, just because I still am very busy. And you know what? It just started rolling. What can I say?
Oh wait, can I? Did you say only? Oh, did you really say just only 5? Okay. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was 4 years, 4 full years, and 9 contests. I mean, considering
That's
that
crazy.
later on I started, things started happening, and I know for a reason, and it really was something I needed in my life, and an encouragement to kind of lift me up.
Yeah.
So
I have a question for you too, Lydia. When I was reading a little bit about your story, which you guys can find more about Lydia at the World Food Championships page. So it was the name that you came up with for your team, Diamond Chef. I think you should share that story with us, because it's just, I might have to cry or something. I don't know.
Well, it was within those years where I was just kind of starting out this whole food sport in my life, and I was sitting in bed with my sweetheart husband, and we were watching the Iron Chef, and I was just like flabbergasted with their talent. I'm like, oh my goodness, I was just kind of trying to imagine myself there, and not quite, but I thought, wow, love, this is like pretty awesome. And he looks at me in a very, calm fashion, and he says, you know what? they're Iron Chef. You're a diamond chef. You'll never rust. You're always going to be shining and sparkling. And that's how, kind of the first time I heard that, I'm like, come on, what are you talking about? And I kind of always downplayed myself. And he always, encouraged me. And when it came World Food Championship time and I won a golden ticket, we had to figure out a name for the team. And, we thought, what name are we going to give? And he suggested, well, what about Diamond Chef? And I'm like, really? Are you sure, Diamond Chef? I mean, am I a diamond? And yeah, why not? Yeah, sure.
I had not heard that story. I'm glad you asked her to tell that story.
I love that. And also let's talk a little bit about your sous chef, because we all know how important the sous chefs are for your team. So give a shout out to your sous chef.
I love my sous chef. I could be in the kitchen with him all the time. He's an amazing man. Really an inspiration for me in life, in action. And he really always encourages me. He's always been my number one fan.
There you go.
And I can't think of anyone else yet.
Yet.
Go ahead.
So I've asked this question of everyone that's going into the final table, and I'd ask if you're nervous, but that would be a silly question, because if you're not, then you're not prepared, right? The excitement alone has really got to play a role. But is there anything that you've thought perhaps you need to brush up on, or a style of cuisine you were unfamiliar with that you needed to, or thought you needed to expose yourself to, or even whether it's reading books or practicing or dining out or asking mentors to help or peers? Have you had any of those challenges or thoughts that? And if not, I'm sorry if I just planted them. I'm sorry if I just planted them.
She still has a week. She can do it in a week.
You can do it, Lydia.
I mean, you know what? Life is a challenge, right? Everything we do is a challenge. Every single contest is a challenge. And there's always something new to learn. I don't think that's ever going to end. And, obviously, New Orleans for me, now I say New Orleans. I say New Orleans, and everyone's like, no, it's not New Orleans. It's New Orleans. So
it's not. It's New Orleans. Yeah. There you go.
It definitely is a new territory for me. I know a lot of people are very familiar with it. It's kind of interesting how I just won a contest with a Cajun-inspired dish, which was my very first Cajun-inspired dish. And I had no idea we were going to New Orleans. So, I guess it's coming. I don't know. I'm hoping I'm going to do my very best. And what can I say? That's all we could do is our very best.
Well, speaking of chicken, let's talk about Springer Mountain Farms chicken.
Yeah, did you see that? Did you see that carefully placed sponsorship logo?
Did you notice how I just put that right in there? Not bad for radio.
Yeah, So I have a question. What's special about that bird? I mean, I know. Do you know?
It's just a great tasting bird. Listen to me. You can tell.
I was going to say it's damn tasty.
Well, they're organically or grown without hormones for sure. I do know that much.
So that includes the feed. And I believe they're corn finished, which is gives a little richness to the meat.
You can tell he's a chef.
No, you know what? So I'll be honest with you. I don't know the story about eating it, and by tasting, it's pretty incredible. As a matter of fact, we should probably ask Mike or Lydia, who I know Mike, you have some other specific sponsors that have really played a big role in growing the organization, and it's that's a pretty big deal.
The number one sponsor is
the retailer called
Cut him
Walmart.
off. Cut him off. The little retailer.
Springer Mountain Farms is indicative of a lot of the great food sport believers from the beginning. I mean, they've been with us for quite a while now, and when we decided to move to Dallas, technically it's outside of their market, so you don't get much of their product this way. It's a distribution limitation in their mind based on freshness, and so it says a lot that they decided to stay.
Yes.
At the World Food Championships.
Absolutely.
Even though we're going to be in Dallas, and you can't buy their product in Dallas. So those kinds of sponsors, whether it's Red Gold or Challenge Butter or Gotham Steel, Walmart, you name it, they've been very special to us. They're very special to the food champs, and they know that our champs are looking for the freshest, best ingredients and products to produce these wonderful dishes. So we are big fans, big believers in Springer Mountain, and I don't know, maybe we should have factored in some chicken into the Cajun process, but that technically would have been a little bit of unfair advantage to Lydia, and that was one of the things that we had to try to navigate is that this particular set of challenges wasn't really falling into the lap or the strength of any one of our 10 champions. So
True. Yeah.
We feel like we did a pretty good job with that. Obviously, the redfish might be a benefactor to the seafood, but the Bienville part, the Cajun, the Creole aspect of it is not. So we'll see what happens. We've tried to create a really fine path and a challenging path for these 10 contestants.
Well, and I want to say, you may not be able to find the Springer or acquire the Springer Mountain Farms birds here, but you can go online to springermountainfarms.com and order, and they'll ship it to you. So
there you go.
Hey, we want to, if
Chicken on the fly.
they can't grow the retail market here,
Chicken
we'll
does
go
fly.
Fantastic.
Yep.
There you go.
And we hope that they get a lot of that during this process. So
Well-
maybe they'll expand into Dallas. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, look, retail. Well, we'll talk about business
Yeah.
later. Let's talk
That's
about
on the
Lydia.
Food
Let's
Biz
talk
Pro
about Lydia.
Show.
No, so my mind automatically goes to the business of business. I'm sorry. I'm
here we
sorry.
go.
It's the business of food. Business. It's all one thing. And Lydia, what do you do on a day-to-day basis? What's your full-time food-related career?
Wow. Well, I mean, my full-time food-related career, other than washing dishes most of the time, because I'm cooking all the time, I think that takes the longest, is, I'm cooking for the family, really, and I do a lot of things, church-related also, kind of help out. I do fundraisers for them. Really nothing professional. I am your home cook. I am your home cook, and I love, doing things and helping
That's what
people
we are.
going
That's right.
left and right. That's it. Yeah.
Well, actually, you have so I asked that on purpose, right? You have the best and most important cooking job in the world, and that's cooking for your family. So you chose right.
Thank you.
I mean, I love what I do. I've never woken up and said, I don't want to go to work today. Well, I could use a couple more hours sleep, but not that I hate what I do. But really, that's when you think about a noble profession, anything that's family service oriented, really, there's nothing. I don't think you could choose a career path because people don't think of it as a career, but that's a full-time plus
Right. And
position.
I want to bring up a little bit about Lydia, about where you kind of developed your passion and love for cooking through your Armenian heritage and both of your grandmothers. So we have a lot of guests on, and it always goes back to they were with grandma or grandpa. It doesn't have to be just paws, y'all. It could be paws too, or mother or father. Anyway, so give us a little bit of history on just how you got interested in cooking and that thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
family cooking.
I grew up in São Paulo, Brazil, and I was there. My parents really, with a lot of sacrifice, they put us through an American school, private Christian school, and grandmas were at home. They lived with us, and they were cooking full time, like 24/7. They were cooking, and I would constantly try to get in the kitchen. They wouldn't let me in the kitchen. So I was just like, I want to do that. I locked them out once. I actually did, and we had guests that night. I was a little kid. So, yeah, very inspiring. And the love they had for us, they would make food for us just for after school and then dinner again.
That's some good grandmas right there.
But everybody really, I mean, think back if you have a family that's close knit, those stories are really what food is all about, right? It's Mark Conway's show,
Right.
Family Meal.
Meals.
That double entendre there, the the family meal in the restaurant industry, is very important because that is your family. You spend a lot more time with them typically than you do your family at home. It's sad to say, but a lot of times you do. But that's when those bonds at the family dining table or at the family meal table in the restaurant, that's when those really close-knit bonds are formed. And I think the importance of dining at the table together as a family in this country, it's overlooked completely. I don't even think it's just underwhelming. It's overlooked.
It's just family schedules too, and just getting in the kitchen with your kids, even in cooking, is kind of starting to be a trendy thing now. So my little nieces are kind of getting in the kitchen with their dad and stuff, and going to little chef school. So I think it's a good thing. That's what I like to talk about, is getting the families together again.
I think it's a needed thing in today's society.
Absolutely.
We're with millennials being distracted and families going back and forth to ball games and pulled in many different directions, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, whatever it is. I think the family mealtime has really suffered over the last couple decades, if not longer, and it's good to see the trend coming back. A lot of younger parents are starting to put a precedence on that 30 minutes or that 1 hour together, and I know that Chelsea and I are trying to do that with Tucker,
yeah.
And as a result, Chelsea. Not I, but Chelsea's learning to cook a lot of things now because we're not just going out to eat anymore. If it were left up to me, we'd just go to the local restaurant or go down to see Chad Combs and see if he can whip something up. But we're spending a lot of quality time in the kitchen and at the dining table with Tucker, trying to, in our minds, raise him with a familial approach, and I see that happening and hear that happening a lot with other people and friends and family. I think it's great. And the fact that Lydia had that background is fantastic. Also, the fact that she's a home cook and made it to this moment to get to the final table is a phenomenal situation. Last year was our first home cooked victory, and we've been question about this in the past. Do you ever think a home cook's ever going to stand a chance against a chef? Well, how many chefs did you beat out, Lydia, in your category? Probably 24 chefs in her category that she beat out, and now she has a chance at $100,000 that every one of them wishes they had a chance at. So, pro chef, home cook, real chef, trained chef, whatever you want to call it. This whole ecosystem, this platform of the World Food Championships, we're trying to build it in a very equal and fair way so that anyone who executes well on the day of has a chance at victory.
And I just love that part about the WFC because I'm a chef too, personal chef, but not classically trained, but a home cook. And, I did do some sous chefing last year. Wasn't too bad. I liked it, but I just don't have time to be a competitor.
Well, I think I think that, and this is just my opinion, but I think the way that each stage is composed, right? So you have the first 2 stages, you pretty much know what you're going to cook. So you have lots of time if you aren't a professional chef, or look, professional chefs, I probably dine out less than most other people do, right? So I, on occasion, like Trey comes in, he mentions all these restaurants, I'm like, yeah, I saw it the other day. but and when I do go out, typically I tend to gravitate towards specific types of restaurants or brand new places. But yeah, there is plenty of time to do homework, plenty of time to get yourself up to speed, and I think it's a pretty fair battleground. And that final, though, Mike, we'll talk about that later. But Mike let a little cat out of the bag, which we can't talk about. But I'll tell you what, no, spectacular though. Can I just
wait a minute? Where was I?
Sorry, you weren't eating pie.
Yeah, I wasn't invited to
somewhere.
that.
But no, it was. This is one of the coolest competitions ever. I have to tell you. It's organic, it's authentic, and it's completely transparent. There's nothing scripted. There's no one-on-ones with the cameras. Just because you have to, and they don't wake you up at 3 a.m. to make sure that you get those done, so you get no sleep and everybody's grumpy. So,
right,
yeah, amen.
Well, I have mixed emotions about TV-centric food challenges and food shows. I'd love for every one of our champions to be on one, just to get the visibility. But B, so much of it is scripted that
Right.
it's not what we want to be. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Obviously, it's worked in numerous ways for various celebrity chefs and various channels. So I'm not going to be the guy that says that's not the right way to do it. But it's not the right way for us. And we believe that the competition comes first and the entertainment comes second. We hope that the show is entertaining. We hope that there's some live, real, authentic drama, but we're not going to fabricate it. And we're going to give our chefs and home cooks and pro teams every fair and conceivable shot at winning this $100,000 that we can. And at the end of the day, I want them all to walk away from this food fight saying that it was a fair fight. And that's what we aim for every single competition and every single final table.
Do you have any more big questions to go through? Because I have a couple real quick.
I was just going to say, most people might not be aware that Lydia, 3 out of the 4 times she competed, she was in the top 10. So kudos and congratulations on that right there.
I think
so
one of the only other people up there with you is Nick Rickman, right?
Right.
So, and he's nothing. You don't have to worry about that.
Nick.
Yeah, he's still repairing his house.
It's mostly some newbies, a lot of newbies.
Yeah,
and
there are a lot.
But those who I love seeing those who have advanced and make it a goal to do better every year at the championship. And
that's awesome.
And you can just see them coming sometimes. You know, someone who
moving up,
who's at 11th or 12th, and then they end up at 8th, and then they end up at 3rd. And I just know that the next year they're probably going to hit it.
Yeah.
So it's exciting to see that. So to going back to your early question about preparation and what have you been planning to do, and one of the rare things that we allow at the final table that you don't get to do during the main competition is actually talk about your dish to the 5 judges. It's not blind at this moment.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It is about what you're cooking, what you're supposed to be cooking, and anything that you're bringing to the table that the judges should be aware of. That's why it's very important for us to have judges who can't be bought, judges who can't be influenced,
right,
and judges that care about the mission of the World Food Championship. So if I'm a competitor preparing for this moment, I am studying Creole and Cajun dishes, just the origin and the history behind those things, so that I can capture that essence and talk about that essence as I'm preparing and plating and presenting my dish. So I hope that, I'm sure Lydia has already done that. I hope that everyone has done that. I'm not sure about Oliver Sievers. Did we talk about Oliver?
No, but
Did
his
y'all interview
show,
him?
yes, his show actually came out yesterday, and I did half of the show with Andy. He had a little bit of a language with the
transition,
but yeah, he got 30 minutes with him. So Oliver Sievers,
yeah, but ich kann Deutsch sprechen. Ich hab
See, look at him now. He's going to do
I'm like,
German.
no, I was like, Andy, you should have
He's
me
such a
on.
brag.
I'm just joking.
It's going to be so entertaining to see how Oliver approaches this.
It's out there. It
because
just,
he's larger than life, and he's such a great personality. But this becomes about Cajun Creole dishes and cooking. So we'll see how he answers the call. We'll see how Lydia answers it, and everyone else.
So on that note, Lydia, let's get a little more personal with you. What is your favorite food to eat? What's your favorite dish?
Wow, okay. I'm going to go way on the other side now. I love sushi.
Hey, that's what I specialize in. Yay!
Yeah.
Japanese. Yeah.
I can't say that because I get
like that.
You get in trouble.
Yeah. So do you have what's your favorite fish or type of sushi?
I just like it plain and simple. Salmon sashimi. That's my favorite.
That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Have you ever had? Was there any challenges you couldn't overcome in any competitions? Like that one when you were like, oh no, like forgot an ingredient, dropped something on the ground.
She did forget an ingredient. Yeah.
Oh no!
Right, Lydia?
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I did.
Tell that
I've
story.
competed
Tell
before
that story.
in other formats. So
yeah, tell us about that. Yeah.
Yes. In my last, when the actual round, that final round where I ended up winning, I realized my champagne vinegar wasn't there, and I'm calling for someone. Does anyone have champagne vinegar? And well, long story short, my husband had to run back to the condo because I'm very picky about things, and I had to have my champagne vinegar. I just didn't want to substitute any other vinegar for that. And that did my sauce. I think, one of the little secrets. So,
there you go.
I just let it out.
All right, so we have about a minute left. Yeah, I mean, Mike, is there anyone you want to? I mean, all of these competitors are impressive. I've gotten to sit on a few interviews. I've done a couple myself. It's funny because even the non-professional cooks tend to have this food knowledge and you're crossing over between all sorts of different mediums. Steak guy, he's a barbecue guy. Used to be. Right. I'm not demeaning him. I'm sorry. He's laid up in bed with a herniated disc. I hope he gets better. We got 30 seconds, lady. Is there anyone you want to say besides your husband? Say thank you to real quick.
And we want to thank you for coming on, Lydia.
Yeah.
Oh, I am so honored, and I thank all of you, for having me on, and Mike McLeod. I mean, I have to say, my hats are off. You've done an amazing job, and I can't say I know, but you've done a really tough work, and you're continuing, and I hope that you succeed even more.
Thank you, Lydia. Thank you. Good luck. We're pulling for you. Good luck.
This is the only 24-hour take-anywhere platform dedicated to food and fun. We're Spoony.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
The Life Act is very simple, but also very powerful. A declaration that all life has value, that all life matters, and that all life is worthy of protection.
Georgia Governor Brian Kemp says he's proud to sign legislation that bans abortions after a baby's heartbeat can be detected. The signing this morning caps weeks of protest at the state capitol. It marks the beginning of legal battles that are expected to wind up before the Supreme Court one day. Pro-life advocates across the nation are cheering. Dan Steiner is the president of Preborn.
Most abortions being done 12 weeks and under makes this bill incredibly relevant in the effort to save unborn and preborn life in the state of Georgia.
Similar bans have been signed into law in Mississippi, Kentucky, and Ohio, and are being considered elsewhere. Congress won't be getting its hands on documents from former White House counsel Donald McGahn.
The White House has instructed former counsel Donald McGahn not to comply with a subpoena from House Democrats for documents related to the Mueller probe. In a letter addressed to the House Judiciary Committee, current White House counsel Pat Cipollone says McGahn doesn't have the legal right to disclose those documents. Cipollone also asked that any further requests for documents be made directly to the White House.
Capitol Hill correspondent Wally Hines reporting. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin says the Justice Department will provide a more detailed legal justification for why the Trump administration will not be turning over the president's tax returns. While federal law allows certain lawmakers to demand the president's returns, Mnuchin says the request by the House Ways and Means Committee lacks a legitimate legislative purpose. The escalation of a trade dispute between the U.S. and China continues to worry investors. The Dow is down 534 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Take the pain out of ordering your diabetic testing supplies with Diathrive. Diathrive ships the testing supplies you need directly to you when you need them. Best of all, with plans starting as low as $8 a month, Diathrive is probably going to cost you less than what you're paying today. Diathrive is so convinced that you'll love their service, they're offering your first month of supplies free. Simply type the code DOC, D-O-C, at checkout. Diathrive.com. That's D-I-A, thrive.com.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who is honest and upfront. No hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-570-6630. 800-570-6630. That's 800-570-6630. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Hey, Small, how much to your British Isles background?
I like how you turned me off.
Nice. I turned you on? Oh.
No, I had already done it. It's all right.
All right, well, yeah. Hey, Derry, go ahead and talk.
I know, I'm like,
so what's really funny is the first, all right, you can hold for a second, Andy. All right.
Hey, Andy.
You
message me.
Yeah, here. Andy, I'm going to put you live, but the first, 4 or 5 times, I was on Doc Thompson's show for a long time at this other location, and then here as a regular guest when we first launched because the other channel launched first. But I always forgot to unmute. On his show, he'd always point. I'm like, okay, no problem. Unmute, mute. But then you start your own show. You're the only person in here, and you're like, I can't hear yourself. I'm like, oh my God, am I going deaf? Or, oh no, I forgot to unmute the mic. It's like Radio 101, and I never studied radio, so.
Right. 3 minutes later.
But Andy, you're a tech guy. How you doing?
Hey, Andy.
Doing good, guys. How's everything going?
It's going tasty today. It really is. We're having a good time in here.
I can't complain.
I noticed the bottle of Jameson.
There you go. Exactly. I don't even have to say
you're
it.
jealous.
That cask-made, man. Mm-hmm. I am. I've got a little Evan Williams single barrel, here just to, kind of drink along with you guys and celebrate the occasion.
Brag much?
That's right.
Do you brag much?
Cheers.
Cheers. Here you go.
And actually, this should be a toast to all of the competitors, all throughout. Not just that are going to final table, the top 10, but the 10 winners, but to all of them, and for 8 years now that have competed.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers, and to all the people in the peripheral, the volunteers, Mike,
staff.
When I saw you, or we spoke after the main event last year, and I'm telling you, you sounded like I feel most of it. Like, yeah, I'm good. I'm tired. But you picked it up during the interview, and I was like, man, thank you so much for getting through this. But yeah, cheers to the WFC, all the competitors, and don't cry in your suit, man. There's always next year.
That's right.
That's all I can tell you. Cheers.
Right. Cheers.
And
Andy.
Andy, to you and all the show hosts here at Spoony as well, and just all the supporters. Mike, thanks for coming in.
Cheers.
I couldn't do it without you. Thank you very much. This is exciting. It's we're growing, not quite as fast as you are, but man.
Also,
who would have thunk it?
I'd like to thank everyone for helping me with this foodie group collaboration that I came up with. One of those $1 million ideas I have in the middle of the night. I have a lot. They're not all good, but I couldn't have pulled this off without you guys, Andy, Patrick, Spoony, Mike.
It goes really good with the foodie group.
Thank you guys for helping. It's
been
really fun.
Really good with that.
What's that?
Nostalgia wild rice.
Oh, yes.
Have you ever had that?
No, I haven't had them.
You probably can't spell nostalgia, so you go to SpoonyWildRice.com, right?
Okay.
If you go to SpoonyWildRice.com, I'm not going to bore you with all the details. They have really amazing wild rice, cultivated wild rice. And if you don't know what wild rice is, well, you're missing out because it is one of the ancient grains. It is a superfood.
It's delicious.
It is as close to protein as you can be. It's plant-based, 13 out of 14 amino acids. It's gluten-free. It's the only native grain in North America, and oh, that's high fiber. Just eat some. It's good for you. Go to SpoonyWildRice.com. Tell Jay and Lori we sent you. I'm sure there's some kind of discount. I don't have the code right now. So another kind of,
like Spoony.
I actually have. I actually say it every day.
Just tell them Patrick sent you.
Actually, if you just say, it's actually. I know Matt has a code. It's Matt on his show. No. It's Mom 10. Mom 10.
I don't know
because
how
it's a Mother's
that.
Day. Because they have a Mother's Day package that they're doing, a special package right now.
Oh, fantastic.
So you guys,
that's smart.
We were speaking about Oliver Sievers, the barbecue champ, who is the top 10 going into the final table. So tell us a little bit about your interview with him, which actually aired last night, and tell everybody where they can go and listen to that, Andy.
Oh, man, you guys. Well, first of all, you can go and listen to it anywhere other podcasts are found, as well as the Spoony station at 4 p.m. Central Time and 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time.
Okay.
But Oliver was a really great person to talk to. This was his first interview that he ever did in English, and I have to commend him for that. He did very, very well. And as a barbecue guy myself, it was very interesting talking to him. Do you guys know how accomplished he is? I mean, Mike McLeod, you know his lineup of what he's done and his accomplishments, because obviously he's gotten his golden ticket. But I think for a lot of the people at home wondering, hey, this barbecue team showed up and won, and they're from Germany. Yes, I mean, that is true on the surface, but they have been all over the world competing. Mm-hmm. They went to the World Championships in Ireland and won. They did competitions in the Netherlands and won. I mean, these guys are serious competitors.
Well, the Germans, they're pretty lazy about everything. They nilly-willy everything. No, I lived in Germany for a long time. They are very structured. They are very Germanic. They have a very scientific approach to everything. But with that, they throw in some creativity, because that winning dish was lamb, was it not?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, I wish I had tasted that. It's my favorite. It's my favorite protein. So, they're a team. He's one to watch.
He's serious. They don't call him the Weasel for nothing.
Oh, yeah, he's called the Barbecue Weasel, and his team is Barbecue Weasel, I guess is the name of the team. He's actually like a food personality in Germany. So he's
I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
yeah, he's larger than life. He
is. He's
a fun guy. I can't wait to hear the interview to see how he handled the English and you handled the translation. But I'm glad that you were able to do that. And I want to thank each of you for pulling off this wonderful interview series with all of our 10 champs. I think that's one of the beautiful things about moving the final table like we did last year, is it gave us a chance to start promoting the 10 champions a little bit longer and give them their accolades that they deserved. It used to be when we had the final table connected to the main event, you could have been the barbecue champion or the burger champion or whatever, and you were king for a day or queen for a day. And then the story pivoted to who won the $100,000. And that's what all the media wanted to talk about. So being a reformed journalist, I looked at that and dissected it, and I thought, these people deserve a little bit more time, and we could do them a lot more justice if we moved this event. And of course, I'd watched World Series of Poker forever, and liked that format, even though they went back to the original. Thank you all for playing an important role in giving kudos to all of these great champions. I feel like it's a seminal moment in our history, in that we finally have found a method and to the madness to follow. So thank you all for being a part of it.
Yes, and thanks for letting me have the opportunity.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been a learning experience, but a lot of fun, and actually having a chance to get to know each of the champs, like you said, was great for us too. Now, I just wanted to tell everybody that probably within the next week, I will post on all of our pages and tag everyone in where they can listen to every single episode. So if you missed it, you didn't miss it. You're still going to be able to listen to all of them. You got time before the final table. So, I'm going to take this from a different perspective. For me, this is right now my food world for the most part. I mean, I get to speak with chefs every day, and I go out to eat more than I talk, and I do experiment with recipes. One of the things I learned a long time ago is I try to cook something I've never cooked before, try a recipe I've never tried, or use a product I've never tried every day. And that's tough to do when you only have an oven, an electric grill, and a microwave, but I still do my best to do that at least once a day. But it's been kind of inspirational for me. When I was in culinary school, I was a junior ACF competitor, ACF competitor after that, and everything from baking competitions as like basically the sous chef, the demi chef, and it's I'll tell you what, it's really made me want to grow again as a chef. Because there's been a lot of time stagnant where I've been consulting and not opening restaurants and not grinding it out and not working on the line and not making that the core of my life. And listening to these stories,
And just the grit and intestinal fortitude that some of these players have.
Well, Patrick, I think that's one of the other silver linings to this is that it becomes not only the family, not only the opportunity to elevate your game and be recognized for it, but it can become your new motivation. The stories that I hear during my daily walk, because I live and eat, breathe this every single day, and I'm either talking to a sponsor like Donna Collins, Jelly Queens, who really believes that WFC breathed new life into her after a tragedy in her life, and whether it's that or listening to a competitor who overcomes all odds to walk the stage like Josie Lanzi did in 2015 after a doctor told her she was going to be a quadriplegic 6 months earlier after a Sea-Doo accident. People using WFC as that moment for them to realize their dreams, to compare dreams, to meet friends, to get that motivation and that passion back in their lives again. That's just something we never could have forecasted or envisioned, but it is absolutely why the snowball is going downhill now. We pushed this thing up the hill for the first 4 or 5 years, and now it's moving at its own momentum. The announcement to move it to Dallas has created a lot of energy for that momentum. The new things that we'll be doing this year in Dallas, I think, are going to spur even more growth. We haven't even talked about some of the cool infusions and things that we're going to be doing, and hopefully we'll have time for that. But I'm glad to hear you say what you just said, which is you feel a spark again, a little bit of a tug toward something that you know well, but maybe you're just looking at it differently.
We may have a Team Spoony next year.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Woohoo! I'm the sous chef.
So I'm delighted to hear that, and we hear those stories daily now, and it's amazing. It's amazing to hear them and to understand the impact of this overall platform on people's lives.
That's awesome. It's been so fun to watch, and again, I've met so many interesting people along the way, and no one's ever hesitated to help. I had to work on Randy for like 4 months to get him to do a show, but other than that, but I mean, Mark Conway, right? He was our initial one to jump in and just help grow Spoony. Started talking, and as soon as he had the time, he started doing a show. Andy, you did the same thing, but he doesn't just do that. He helps produce other stuff that we don't have the in-house staff to do, and he does it because he wants to help us, not because we compensate him. Other than just saying thank you, and man, the minute we have the money, we'll pay you. But I mean, you've never asked for a thing, and but it's fun. Every single competitor from the WFC that I've come across, every ambassador, the liaisons for specific locations, cities, everyone has a smile on their face all the time. I mean, unless they stub their toe or something. But it's really. I mean, I've not seen one person like, are we still doing this today? Are we not done? Can we go home now? Not a single person has ever presented a face that wasn't more than just pure joy or anything less than pure joy. So,
it's food, family, and fun.
Well, can I just say?
Go ahead, Andy.
I'm sorry, Mike. I'm just going to add on to the accolades here a little bit because the World Food Championships is actually what kind of opened the door for us. We had Food Champ on. We had Kim Bannock on my original show, Booze, and Barbecue, just to talk about food stuff because she was doing some chicken wings for a competition, and she came over and we did a little barbecue chicken wing. I won't call it a competition or whatever, but and then we had somebody from the WFC reach out. I think it was Keela, as a matter of fact, and she said, "Hey, like what you guys are doing. If you can make your way out, we'll go ahead and have some media passes for you." And you've really started our snowball rolling. So one more success story that comes off of the WFC right here. So thank you for that.
Glad to hear it. Thank you, Andy.
And that's where I got to meet Andy and Corianne last year. It was fun. And then I guess we came on your show one time, and you've came on our. I don't know. We just keep interviewing each other. We just love to interview each other, don't we, Patrick? Sometimes.
Well, so here's the deal. So I doing a 2 hour, doing a 1 day a week, 1 hour show, because I used to do like just 2 1 hour shows a week. And then I went to like 3 1 hour shows a week. And then I went to 5 1-hour shows a week. Then it was like 5 live shows a week. And then I was like, this has been pretty easy. How about just do 2 hours a day, man?
Whoa.
That's a lot. That's a lot of talking. And I don't know if you've ever seen Angry Patrick or Passionate Patrick come out, so to speak.
Funny.
Yeah, it's some very interesting family stories come out. You should, if you haven't seen it, go back and listen to last Friday. I'm wearing a t-shirt, my hat backwards, a raggedy hat backwards, and it looked like I hadn't shaved in 3 weeks, but it was a good segment. It was we had a bunch of fans. We had 75 fans from both channels in here.
Wow.
That came in to celebrate Doc.
You cooked tacos, I think, something. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I made breakfast. I was making breakfast tacos to
that's
order,
great.
and then I had to come and I had to produce a show for Trey Chapman. But it was pretty phenomenal, and we've gotten some great John Tissar was in last week, and we have Dean Faring and all these wonderfully impressive, not just impressive but inspiring chefs. Kent Rathman's been in. And not to mention the big names that you and Mark get to get. How the heck do you guys get that reach, by the way? What's the trick here? All right, I'm going to go. This is Patrick speaking. Sorry, WFC is the core topic. But I know Mark's a slickster, and I mean that in the best way. Mark, you are the coolest guy. You get access to anywhere.
He is slick, isn't he?
He's got that smile and that damn Star Wars blazer and his pink tennies.
Nice.
I can't pull that off, man. I'm a 51-year-old, hair thinning. I look at people with good hair, and I have good hair envy now. I'm like, Mark, I don't like you. But no, I memean, it's
in my
amazing,
shoes, brother.
Hey, at least you have the balls to shave it.
I got the pink shirt.
But it's
Did
just.
you say you made breakfast tacos, Patrick?
I did. You know what? I have one electric skillet. So I made breakfast tacos for like 80 people, now almost 90 people with one electric skillet and 3 feet of counter space.
Sounds like a new category, speed cooking.
Oh, I've been in I've done a lot of restaurant openings, and I've been through that struggle the first night when it's like, I'm not sure if I can do this anymore. It's like where the printer is the sound of money and frustration and agony at the same time. You dream about that stuff in your sleep.
Oh, yeah.
But all that stuff aside, it's,
let's talk. I got something to talk about.
Oh no,
I do.
You always have something to talk about. That's what's cool.
I'm trying to be quiet over here. He hasn't muted me yet, but
I'll never mute you.
I want to talk about the new.
Derry's going to be asking about a taco called taco category, right, Derry?
Yeah, taco category.
Taco category.
Speaking of that, Andy made a bunch of tacos the other day. We'll get into that in a minute if we have time to. But I want to talk about the categories. Lord. The categories for this year, Mike. And the new ingredient that's going to be an infusion. We're all excited about that. You want to spill any beans on that?
Yeah, so you want the buzz?
Yeah, I want the buzz. Really, I do.
Wait, but it's actually, this is, so I actually know this product very well. I'm a big proponent of this. My son, my daughter, I spend like $1,000 a month on this stuff. And it's changed our lives in many ways. So when you said that the other day, I didn't say anything at that point, but I mean, it's a big deal.
So it is a big deal, and when we decided that Recipe was a good spot to go back to our beta version programming, we brought Recipe back this year after a couple year hiatus. Yeah. We looked around, looked at trends, and basically discussed what 1 or 2 trends do we want to take on and see if we can highlight a focus on that particular trend. And CBD oil, hemp oil, however you want to refer to it, but what seemed to be the one with the most trending topical data occurring in the space right now. Obviously, there are a lot of claims that I am not qualified to substantiate and won't even try. But I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there too with CBD oil because of obviously it's tied to hemp, and so we believe that highlighting it, discussing it, and bringing it into the championship, and I think it just went legal in Texas a couple weeks ago.
April 2nd,
and I think that there's maybe even some back and forth on that. Well, the use, I think that manufacturing and the selling of it.
That's right. Okay.
Maybe the selling of it in Texas is the issue. But we're going to make sure, hopefully, that by October we can deliver on this promise.
Right.
We did see some hemp infused, not malt beverages, but beverages in another event here recently. So we believe that this is going to be fine. But we found a partner already. The Good Spice is going out of California, is going to provide not only the CBD oil, but they are going to provide sugars and salts and vinegar and canola oil and vegetable oil that already has CBD infused in it, so the cooks won't have to worry about the balance and the ratio as they cook with it. So.
And that's time consuming as well.
Yeah.
It's a process.
It's not as easy. I think Good Spice. It's the Kind Spice.
The Kind Spice.
KindSpice.com. So they're going to be the sponsors of our CBD infusion round in the recipe category. And we're very, very excited to see what happens with that, what the cooks do with it in that top 10 round. Other things that we'll be experimenting with, we're looking at ancient grains. Right now, I heard you say that a few minutes ago about your wild rice. We're looking at that as a trend. So, just like we try to elevate and celebrate great culinary champions, we're also looking at the food landscape and trying to figure out what are appropriate things to bring into this platform. And the cool thing that I get to talk about with sponsors is that it's not just a cooking competition. This is a platform. You can do R&D with this. Where else are you going to find 1,500 chefs in one spot for 5 days?
Yep.
And if you want to put some R&D opportunity in play, then we are your it factor because 40 different chefs are going to give you 40 different takes on one particular ingredient that you may not think about. And I know a lot of great companies out there that have executive chefs that are very clever and very creative, but when you put 40 of them in a kitchen and you give them the task that in 1 hour or 2 hours, we want to see what you can do with this ingredient or this product, it's pretty remarkable. So we're excited about where we're going. We've got a lot of things that we'll be announcing July 1st, which is our structured build and infusion release date for this year's tournament, and CBD oil is probably leading the pack as far as interest.
Yeah, and we'll have Mike McLeod on.
There are going to be a lot of.
Yeah.
Sorry, Darius. There are going to be a lot of chefs with arthritis that are going to feel really good after that.
They're going to be happy.
Actually, it'll be the judges.
Oh, the judges. That's true. Well, I do have to taste it. Yeah. But I was going to say we will have Mike McLeod on several more times before the main event, so we'll discuss some more nitty gritty things.
Well, he'll be on Trey's Chowdown live as well in studio in October, I think, right before the event.
Great.
So I was wanting to know what category. So recipes now in. So what was?
We took chicken out of play as a category, but chicken, since Springer is staying involved, chicken wings is going to be the challenge in the Super Qualifier. For those of you who don't know what the Super Qualifier is, the last challenge or last competition at the event is a chance for those who did not make the top 10s and get a golden ticket to next year's event. The next top 20 scores that are still at the event get an extra chance at a golden ticket while they're on site, and we provide the ingredients. And this year it'll be Springer Mountain chicken wings.
How many do you allow into that final?
20.
Okay.
Yeah, we will still have some top 10s finishing up in one side of the arena, and we only have 20 other cook sets or kitchenettes in the other side of the arena. So we're capped at 20 on that particular thing.
That's awesome.
So is there any way that if someone wanted to compete in October,
Yes.
I know a lot of the categories are closed, but what's
It's a
the
great
way?
question.
Yeah.
This is very important for everyone to understand our process here. We have announced the closing of 4 categories. I think seafood, dessert, barbecue, and burger have closed. We're very close on chef and recipe right now. So it wouldn't surprise me that in 30 days that the categories are officially closed. Now, what does that mean? What it means is there's a mixture of individuals who have already earned and registered into the competition, but there are some spots that we have to reserve for our partners. One of those partners being Port Aransas, Texas, where the Texas Super Chef Series occurs in September. There will be, I think, 16 or so golden tickets awarded in Port Aransas. So if for some reason you don't have a golden ticket, all you need to do is put that September weekend on your calendar, get to Port Aransas, get qualified in or get selected. I think they already have about 60 chefs on their waiting list.
I got to call Gail.
But we're looking at that to see how many chefs can compete in each one of the events. I think there's 2 a day for 3 days, and then there's a grand tasting event where we can do up to 10 or so chefs. So we're trying to accommodate as many as we can. It'd be a great weekend in a great little town, a fishing town that has a drinking problem, or drinking town that has a fishing problem.
I lived there for a while, y'all. So
they're going to have a cooking problem for about 3 days, or an eating problem. So we have other partners like the Show Me series in Missouri. We're announcing soon a new qualifier in Chicago. We've got some Tennessee events still occurring, and we got some special events we're doing with the Dallas Observer and Dallas Morning News. So there'll be ways people can still get in because we're reserving those spots.
Well, the good thing is we have 25 more minutes left. Andy, you going to hang in there?
Yeah. Andy?
Yep. He's going to wait.
Go get some more drink.
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Follow Chef Patrick Mosher on Twitter @Food Biz Pro.
Have you done it? You catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror?
I'm one of those people you don't want to see naked.
Yeah, most of us. But I mean, you look and you're going, what the?
I know.
How did I get to whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible. Hey there, it's Doc Thompson and Brad Staggs to tell you about a different way to shed those pounds. This is brand new tech. It's only been around for a couple of years or so. It was based on research from the University of California that said there's a molecule called OEA that's found naturally in your body. It produces it in the Mediterranean diet, that when taken in concentrated amounts, it will actually make you feel fuller and boost your metabolism.
I've lost about 10 pounds so far.
It's amazing.
It
now,
really is cool.
A company said, we can take this to market and make this great product that'll help you. It's called RiduZone, RIDUZone.com, RIDUZone.com. Brad's worked. It's worked for Brad's, worked for me, countless other people. Go to RiduZone.com and try today. You're going to love it. RiduZone.com. Remember that, RIDUZone.com. It looks like you're losing.
I am.
Are you losing weight?
I am losing. I've lost about 10 pounds.
How are you doing it?
It's a funny name, but I've done it with RiduZone. RIDUZone.com, and the stuff works. It's, you get into all that, the molecule this and the found in that. All I can tell you is it makes you feel full, and it keeps your mind off of wanting to overeat.
And also boosts your metabolism, so you're burning more.
Yeah,
Try it today. It's going to work for you like it's worked for Brad and countless other people. RiduZone.com, RIDUZone.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
I'm going to come in a little. Did anybody catch that number at the top of the hour? I mean, what was that last number? 395. Yeah, 1-800. Just joking.
Spank me.
It's funny. You know what? That's good marketing though.
Where's the
repeat?
No, not yet.
Okay. I'm just making sure you know. Okay.
Oh no,
all right.
No. So, wait, I think I had Andy on mute. Sorry, Andy. I have a bigger voice than you today, don't I?
You're a mess, Patrick.
Hey, you know what? I have to tell you, this is I love cooking, but part of the reason Spoony was born is that, was birthed anyway. I love being a chef and influencing people's lives, and you can affect so many people in one venue at a time. And if you're a corporate or regional chef, or you work for a larger chain nationwide, perhaps you get to influence more people. And then I thought, consulting is really a way to affect people. And so I became a consulting chef, opening restaurants and helping people grow their brand, and hopefully, raising their level of service and awareness to their, of both food quality and service to their guests. And defining hospitality over service, because you can get service from an ATM, but you can't get hospitality from an ATM. And then I thought, you know what, man, radio's a pretty damn big platform. I got a little show going on with Doc at least 30 minutes a week. What if we could tell everybody how wonderful it is to not dine out every night and eat at home and try something new.
Learn to cook,
even if you things like that. Or just try cooking something different. Look, you'd be surprised. You can make a piece of toast and how many different things you can put on a piece of toast. That's unbelievably, it's like as Trey would say, it's a rodeo in your mouth.
There you go.
And that's what we're here for, too.
And, you know, speaking of bread and toast, I was wondering, I was thinking about the rice that you guys were talking about earlier.
Oh, yeah.
And then the ancient grains, Mike, you had talked about. I have this ancient grains flour blend that I like a lot, and I like cooking with it. And it's actually great to make like a gluten-free bread out of. So
Absolutely.
I 100% hear that.
So, you know, it's cool. They make Nostalgia, whatever, SpoonyWildRice.com, another plug there. They actually make a polenta. It's basically crushed.
That's what I saw. It looked interesting.
It's basically crushed wild rice, and you can make the side dish with it. They have some of this poultry seasoning flavor, but there's no salt or pepper or anything like that. And but you make that. If you have some left over the next day, you can make waffles from it. And so I made these savory waffles one day, and you're supposed to add a cup of regular flour, but I actually added their wild rice flour. It was a little more dense, but I'm telling you what I did. I made chicken and waffles, but I took the chicken and shredded up and put it in the waffle mix, and then I did that with a porcini one that they had, and then I put a fried egg on top and a little maple syrup and hot sauce. Man,
we like to torture each other in here.
I know.
Maple syrup and a fried egg on top of anything works.
Well, a little Valencia hot sauce on there, or Valentina. Oh,
Valentina.
That's my favorite.
Anyway. You're making me think of that ghost pepper I had last night. I had actually a hamburger with, a chicken sandwich with ghost pepper cheese. So that just came back.
I have this ghost pepper, it's a ghost pepper salsa, hot sauce back here. That's not that hot. It's probably not as hot as habanero. I've never had anything like that, but it's got that heat that kind of burns all the way through you.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the Nostalgia they make, and just because I love their product, they make a ghost pepper jam, and it's so good. But what they do is they treat it in a way I can't tell you. They actually use it. Well, it's a lactose product, but they to break down some of the heat, some of the heat factor, and it's amazing because it's not hot going down. It's like maybe jalapeno.
And then all of a sudden,
no, you start sweating from the inside out. I'm over there in the studio and I'm like dripping. And Doc is like, dude, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, could somebody turn the AC on? I'm not. It didn't burn at all, but it was, I think I was detoxing maybe. I'm not sure.
It raised your body temperature.
Probably quite a bit. But
it could have been.
I'm afraid of stuff that's that hot. I mean, Andy, do you like really, really hot stuff?
I do, actually. I like stuff that's pretty spicy. I cook with a lot of spice. I have to be a little careful because, my family and friends will go, woo, that's a little too spicy for me. And so sometimes I have to tune it down a little bit. I actually had a real bad concussion here about, what's it been, 5 years ago, where I could hardly walk for about 6 months, couldn't drive for 9 months, 10 months. And after that, my taste completely changed. And I wasn't really a spicy fan before then. And now I love the heat. I can't get enough of it.
Did you learn not to mouth off to your wife after that?
Yeah.
Sorry. Try the wheel. We're here till Friday.
Now, I want to ask Mike McLeod a couple of questions about himself, because you're not all just about WFC. You also are president and CEO of MMA Creative. So tell everybody a little bit about that and how you got started in that business and leading up to the World Food Championships.
Well, basically, MMA Creative is the company I started, 27 years ago.
Wow.
That'll date you real quick. So
he was 12.
Almost 3 decades I've been in the marketing and advertising business. And for about 15 years of that, I've helped other companies build their own products, consulted with them and took them to market and watched them all be wildly successful or somewhat successful and then retire and then ask me to go golfing with them all the time. And that kind of got old real quick. And but no, we were very fortunate to find a way into barbecue competitions. We learned that industry really well and became agency of record for the Kansas City Barbecue Society, helped them grow phenomenally. And during the process, we just fell in love with competition food and learned that there were other genres out there, and looked around one day and thought there should be some kind of catch-all Super Bowl moment. And that's when it kind of led us from the agency into the food marketing genre full-time. And that's what we do now. MMA Creative still does some client consulting and client activations, but it's always in the food space in some form or fashion. So that's the majority of what we do, and we spend at least 85% of our time now on World Food Championships, trying to grow the entire ecosystem, whether it's the judging process, whether it's qualifiers or state partners, bringing on sponsors, developing new vendors, new partners, and new cities like Dallas. So we're constantly focused on that element of the business, and it's what we've become. It's what we love. Everyone at my office, and I have a great staff.
I was going to say, we have to shout out to your staff. They're fabulous.
They're hardworking, overworked, underpaid people, and it's the only way that formula works in any kind of business is you love what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got about 20 individuals who just love what we're doing with World Food Championships. So that staff turns into 40 or 50 when we get to October, and then at the event we try to find 300 to 400 volunteers. We're in the process right now of talking to colleges and high schools that have culinary programs to develop out our culinary volunteers. So,
right.
But yeah, that's MMA Creative and my background. I'm not a chef. Most people think that I am or was or want to be, and
I think you need to do a battle, Mike.
I don't. You know that show, America's Worst Cook? I'm surprised that I've not been invited to participate in that.
We should put that as an activation at the World Food Championships.
Yeah, although I think I could earn a world microwaving belt. So just keep that in the back of your mind.
So in the kitchen we call that Chef. We never say Mike. We say Chef Mike.
Yeah.
Hey, would you give that to Chef Mike, please?
Yes.
And that's all you say
Yes.
in case someone should hear you,
well,
because a lot of times you have to,
I live up to that. I live up to that moniker.
Now, before we move on, and this because segment's going to wrap up here in a bit, if there's anyone that still wants to exhibit at the event in October or sponsor, can they still get in on what's going on?
Yes. We don't have much time left on infused ingredients, things of that nature. We are in a few last minute talks, but right now we have exhibitor space and we have tasting pavilion space. So we're making a lot of inroads with Texas-based companies that want to sample products during our Friday, Saturday, Sunday activities. I'm delighted. I had 4 phone calls on my way over here, and every one of them were Dallas-based food companies, and they're all excited about us coming. So we're going to have a good smorgasbord of Texas talent and culinary at the event this year.
So we thinking about having some more demos and stuff like that this year as well.
We will have a ton of demos. We're working with the Innovative Group to bring Maximus.
Those guys again.
I love Maximus.
And IG.
Yeah, they're
like
great.
that.
Oh no, they're awesome. They really are.
We're actually working with them. We're about to launch a food tour with Walmart as the sponsor, using the Maximus truck.
90 days
that'll
or
be
so,
going,
right?
Yeah, going around the nation and ending up in Dallas. So
Fun.
At our event. So we're excited about that.
I may have a little insight.
I want to ride along.
So we're going to be doing demonstrations on the Maximus stage. We're going to have demonstrations in VIP Lounge. We're talking about putting up an extra stage right now that could be focused on music, but still have a little food programming to it. So if we can get enough sponsorship money in the till to do that, we'll expand even further.
And it's Bo Jackson was there last year, right?
Yeah,
and, Mark got up there with him, and
Bo knows food.
He does know food, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a great guy.
He's a big personality.
He's bigger than life. I ask him what his workout routine is because occasionally I fancy myself as an exerciser, and he says, I don't work out at all anymore.
I don't work out.
And if you look at his arms and his legs and you hear him say that, you really appreciate what he must have done to become the super athlete that he was early
He still
on.
don't know diddly, though.
Yeah. That's funny.
Bo may not know diddly.
All you children out there that are under 40, look it up. Bo don't know diddly. That was one of the best commercials ever.
That's funny.
Are you gonna tell us who the judge is gonna be, or
the judges for the final table?
well, you said there might be a surprise brand ambassador. I'm gonna say that.
No, I'm not going to tell you that.
Oh darn!
No,
okay.
no,
I was hoping to get that out of you.
Katie Dixon.
I tried.
Yeah, Ryan Rondino and Dickie Brennan is going to be a judge, and his executive chef, and then the owner and the chef at Antoine's, and I'm missing someone. JD Eubanks are the publicized judges, and then there'll be one more.
One more. Okay.
Yeah, again, we should get someone with real experience.
I thought he teased us and said he was going to tell us, but I don't know.
No, he was letting that out of the bag. He wasn't going to reveal. I don't think he was just a little tease. So when he gets text, people bring him a cup of hey, Mike, can
everybody's gonna be calling him today.
Yeah, you know what? Can I wax your head for you?
Yeah. What do you need, Mike?
Vodka soda with a splash of cranberry, 2 limes.
Hey, that's what I drink. Come on.
You know what?
Vodka soda, splash of cranberry.
Cape Cod's like the go-to anywhere. When you don't know the bartender's like, Cape Cod, please. Vodka soda.
Oh, Andy.
Little splash cranberry. Or hey, we could use Deep Ellum's the dill pickle.
No.
I have to tell you,
Deep Ellum I like, and I've heard a lot of great things.
Have you tried it?
Dill pickle? No way.
No, here's the thing: it doesn't taste like dill pickle. It starts out with a little bit of dill.
What's the point of the name, though?
Well, so
I'm saying,
what's the dill pickle?
Yeah, what's the deal?
Well, I didn't distill it, but I heard the story. So the funniest part is those guys sat out their head distiller sat out in the parking lot with like 3 of his guys. They got every brand of pickle they had in the store, and they took them out and they put them in the trunk and they ate one out of each jar until they found the flavor they were looking for. They won't tell you what brand it was, but it's more like bread and butter pickle because it starts out a little dill and salty. It goes to this kind of like a cleaner vodka flavor, a little buttery though, and at the end it's got a little sweet finish to it.
I'm going to take your word for it.
Yeah, I was surprised actually.
Well, pickle shots are really big a couple years ago. Everybody was doing dill pickle, pickle juice and vodka. I'm like,
well, I had some more dirty martini with it. Right. But have you seen
Wouldn't that need a little bit of spice to it?
I don't know.
You know what? It would be good with it. They do a couple of drinks down there that are infused with chilies. They have their clear vodka. Their regular vodka is called all purpose.
All purpose.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
The internal cleaner.
Well, so I'm trying to trademark a brand right now that's alcohol.
No. I can't wait.
It's called Plan B.
Plan B.
Nice.
Dude,
I like it.
When Plan A doesn't work out, there's always Plan B,
I thought
right?
it was Forky or something like that.
No, I can't go there. There's a company named A&E, which would fall into that Forky that did want to advertise with us, and I was like, I don't think I can come up with a late night enough moment, a moment late enough at night to throw. It was actually it was actually a funny, really interesting commercial that we wrote, very clean, but I was just like, okay, let's just stick to the programming. We'll stick with food and fun and family.
So what happens? You get a bunch of guys up here doing radio.
No, it wasn't. It was a previous advertiser from another location.
Oh, advertiser.
Yeah,
okay.
Advertiser. No show. No shows.
I don't know.
Andy's like he's gone down
I don't know,
the rabbit
Patrick,
hole.
I'm sitting here thinking like, well, I'm sitting here kind of going like, I can see now what your label would say. It would say like, I love cooking with vodka. Sometimes I even put it in the food, that kind of thing.
Hey, how did you know?
That's good.
Yeah. It's supposed to put a little white wine in the food and put a lot of it in the chef, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had someone asked me the other day. I posted this picture of whiskey coffee, and they thought
I like that.
For some reason, they thought that it was going to be used in the tournament, so they just simply asked, "Infused where?"
Yeah.
And I said, "In the morning."
That's too funny.
Just infuse it
like
in
you
the
post
morning.
everything, and they're like, "What are we gonna do with this, Mike? What are we gonna do?"
Well, it's like it's funny. People go, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna have grapefruit and vodka." And I'm like, "No, that's vodka flavored grapefruit." It's
there you go.
Grapefruit flavor.
It's all in your perspective, right?
Exactly.
It's funny. I have to be careful now that you bring that up. I have to be careful what I post sometimes because people think that
it has something to do
with the challenges at the food championships or some new thing that we're doing. We're always working on something new, some new development, some new extension. But
I got an idea.
Yeah, we have to be careful.
Yeah.
You can
Don't say it. Don't say it. Because tell him later because he might want to use it.
Well, he will want to use it. You could just hashtag.
She wants a record that it came from her.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Derry told me.
I know. See, I was gonna let her tell me and then tell you later. I was gonna say.
I'm gonna mute you now. But
speaking of alcohol, here comes the proof.
Yeah, just hashtag this is mine or something. That way, people don't think this is about WFC. Mike McLeod's property. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's too easy. That's too easy. And
it's too easy.
Maybe sometimes I want them to think that.
That's true. Oh no, there we go. Yeah. Get them to thinking.
Wasn't doing that yesterday though. Dallas highlight of the moment so far.
So you man, that was quite a spectacular So do you play on a regular basis?
I used to be a pretty serious golfer.
Okay,
and it's back before I started the World Food Championships, and I've played so little in the last 7 years that I had to make a New Year's resolution to play at least twice a month this year for myself, and I'm almost up to the number I'm supposed to be. But yesterday I got to be playing the Pro-Am at your Byron Nelson Classic here. It was a fantastic treat.
But not only play.
But also be on a winning team. We came in first, shot 56, which is like 16 under or something like that.
Wow.
So it was a great day. Wonderful golf, wonderful people, and what a great event. That is a huge event. AT&T does a phenomenal job with it. So very excited to see that, and was able to get in one of my rounds for the year.
Did you sit in any of the sky boxes over there from IG? Nice. Did you get to
I
visit
actually
any?
walked through several of their sky boxes, and one that looks like a UFO that just landed out there. It's pretty incredible. And learned where all the party spots are going to be. So I've done my scouting. I come back. I'm going to Vegas tonight, be there a couple of days for the hardware show, and then I'm coming back so that I can go to the event Friday and see the real golfers play, even though we did have one yesterday. Kyle Jones was our pro. But I got to see Tony Romo yesterday. That was pretty cool.
The hardware show, is that code? You're going to Vegas?
Yeah, going to Vegas.
It's like I'm going to Cater Store, so I'm going to Vegas. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cater Store? What?
I have to be careful not to say that because I have flashback moments from our first 3 years in Las Vegas. I still kind of flinch a couple of times when the actual words of Las Vegas come out of someone's mouth. There's always like this little extra little
it's
itch in my giddy up.
Or it's like, oh man, I remember. Hey, Andy, do you play golf?
I used to. I've been wanting to get back into it, but I keep saying it. It's sort of like, working out for me. I keep saying, I'm going to be going to the gym, but why break my streak? I haven't been the last 15 years. So
I'm with you on that one.
I have a membership to like Planet Fitness. I had a couple other ones over the years. Like I had them all because I didn't know if I was, but they're pretty much everywhere now.
It's such a waste.
But no, actually, I used to go 7 days a week, but for like there was a 90-day stretch I didn't go to. I was near Baltimore in Bowie, Maryland, and I walked into the gym there, and they're like, "Oh, 93 days, huh?" And I was like, "Oh my God, you guys serve pizza on Tuesday morning? What are you yelling at me for?"
Right?
I mean, but it was just like, oh, okay, I better get back to the gym. So we talk about golf. I've never really been a golfer. I love golf. It takes a lot. There's a time commitment.
It is a lot of time. It really is.
The thing about golf is right about the time you're ready to break the club over somebody else's head or break it over your knee, look a little like a tin cup. You hit one good shot and you're like,
you're back.
Oh, yes, I'm going to keep.
I'm really good at golden tee.
I'm really good. So when I play, it's usually like a best ball, a two-man scramble kind of thing. And we play for high score. And I always get stuck with this really good golfer. I'm like, hey, just play with me for high score. And you can have the big old basket of the airline bottles of liquor. You can have it, okay? So that you can say, oh, he was terrible, but look what I got.
Right.
I always get like a 8 handicap golf. I'm like, come on. I don't have
it's
time.
Your apology. You give them something as an apology before you even start.
I do. I give them $100 before we hit the
Now I have to pull them out of the rabbit hole again, you guys. Let's get out of the golf rabbit hole.
Well, you know what? So
we go down the rabbit hole quite a bit over here.
We have about 10 days, right?
To the final table. Yeah. Is it that much?
Yeah. No. It's about 11.
I call it hours when I get to this point.
It's the 17th, 18th.
It's so today's the 7th.
Yeah, we'll have film crew on site on the 14th. So that's just that's like Tuesday or Wednesday, something like that. And then the rest of the crew comes in on Friday, and we do our walkthrough with the champions Friday evening and do a champagne toast to them. And then we'll do we'll hit it bright and early Saturday and Sunday. We're not going to have a big kickoff party because we know they all need to get acclimated and get ready and get their mindset. And our crew needs a little moment of zen, which will probably involve Sazerac. But So
CBD oil.
right. So, but yeah, it's going to be 48 hours of real passionate, intense stuff, and I'm excited. I just wish I didn't have all these things. It's probably good that I'm out here right now, actually, and going to Las Vegas to have a few mental distractions before.
I think so.
Otherwise, I'd be completely obsessed with it.
You'd lose your hair.
I'm excited. I get to
Very
go.
possible.
You'd be pulling it
it's
out.
very possible.
Thanks to Mike, I get to go, so I'm super excited.
Yeah, and you know, you're going to get call in every day, right?
Every day.
Okay. And so what I really think
And nights.
the walkthrough of the champion should be called the strut, you know? They
Ooh,
could
the
walk
strut.
in like John Travolta.
I like that. Walk this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I can't believe it's 10 days away.
Yeah, 10 days.
Hey, are you competitors nervous yet? Because you really should be. Hey, are your knives sharp?
Oh yeah, and I was gonna say before we wrap everything up, thank you everybody, all you champs, just for calling in and taking part in this, because everybody's busy. So thank you and congratulations.
Yeah, and a lot of you spent like Nick. He was on the phone for like 2 hours. He spent the whole show.
He was
talking.
2 hours.
It was awesome.
Good.
What a great group.
We had a good time.
This is gonna
well, you know, it's an interesting group too, because I don't see any favorites.
No,
and
I mean,
and in the years
you
past,
think so on paper, but then you look back and you're like,
in years past, I've been able to look at the field and think, all right, these 3 or these 4 are probably going to be in contention, and of course I always get surprised, but I honestly am going into this one just wide open, blank slate strategy, because I can't say this person or that person has a distinct advantage over anyone else. And I think that's great. I think it's a great testament to the fact that we got home cooks, we got teams, and we got chefs all vying for this final $100,000 golden platter engraved moment. By the way, I don't know if you know that, but we've got a golden platter that we engraved their names on, and
that's cool.
It's pretty, it's pretty cool. So
I just want my dish on the menu at Antoine's, please. You know, seriously.
Stand in line. You better go.
If you gave me a choice between one or the other, I'd really have to think about it. I'd have to probably take the money, but I mean that would be because that makes you legendary.
Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should give them the choice. I might be able to save $100,000.
Oh, no.
I don't think people say home cooks or
Everybody
chefs do
hates you
not
now,
make
Patrick.
nearly as much as you think. But. All right, sorry if I screwed it up for real next year.
Yeah, you give me an
I'll
idea.
hit him later, y'all. I hit him.
You know, the way Tucker is going through diapers right now,
no,
that's a good option.
Yeah, there you go.
So, Andy, do you think the barbecue guys have an advantage? Do you think there's an advantage there for Team Deutschland?
Germany.
Man,
Zuizu?
I don't know. He's a really good cook.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the simple fact of it. After talking to Oliver, he is a very good cook. But I'll tell you, every single person I've had on my show, they surprised me with what they were capable of. You know, I mean, whether they had the training or not, you look back at, Peter Raju. He's worked all over the world. He's a trained chef, very professional. And so when I talked to him, I was like, oh, well, he's a clear favorite. And then, I talked to a few other people. And they're like, oh, yeah, I've got years and years that I've been doing this stuff. I talked to, everybody. And I've been listening to Derry's episodes. And it's just like, man, I don't think I can pick out a favorite right now, because I just don't feel like any one person has really stood out to me like, they're the best, the most suited, the best suited. Some people have more experience, but then other people have experience in other ways. And it's just like, you guys, this thing is a toss-up. And I mean that in absolutely the best way. I'm not denigrating any single person. I'm saying that when you get to this level of competition where you are at the final table of the World Food Championships, you've already proved that you can cook. You've already proved that you are one of the best cooks, not just a chef, but cooks in the world. And at this point, man, I don't know. It really is just a toss-up for me, and that's why I'm so excited to hear and see everything coming from the final table.
You know, it's a really cool thing about all that. Actually, is not the coolest thing. You left my name. You don't listen to my shows and my interviews, dude.
That's all you care about.
No, actually, no. I know. Actually, Andy listens to
everybody.
Andy actually listens to. I see him watching and listening. He's very diligent about listening, because we had a conversation earlier when he first started, saying that we don't listen to enough food podcasts. And he's like, I need to do better, and I see him all the time, but. You're right. So I was talking to, let's see, is it Robert Mansfield, and he about his steak win. But he was a barbecue guy. You know what the guy does for a living? He restores pianos.
Oh.
But I know but that's a slow
That's
process, right?
interesting, yeah.
So it's that attention to detail, that's slow
very interesting.
burn, right? The slow, you savor every step of the way, which is probably where barbecue came in. They were very successful, his team, but he competed before the SCA was even in existence. It wasn't really sanctioned, and won a couple and did very well. And he decided to switch to steak. And I'm like, okay, some barbecue guy doing piano, repairs pianos, restores pianos, and I was like. I looked at his final dish, that rib, I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? That's like stuff I used to do. But I'm really impressed. But hey, before we go,
yes,
about a minute 12.
And, minute 12.
You know, I'm going to call this cake in a can. You can read the label if you want to.
Yeah.
But you can't.
This is a gift.
You have to say you came with nothing and you did not leave empty-handed, right? So we'll call this cake in a can. This was shipped directly from England to us. Mike, I hope you have a sense of humor.
Okay, so that's perfect.
We thought you would
He
like
can't
that.
even read it. He's blushing so bad he can't
I'm
read
blushing
it.
too.
Oh my goodness.
It's a Simpsons.
I love it.
Cake
It's
in
a
a can.
Simpsons cake.
Let's just say it's a famous cake from England that actually has raisins that are they give it a
Spotted
speckled look, and it's named after Richard.
Okay.
Well,
there you go. We can't say it.
At least I didn't give you a case of it, right?
Cheers.
And I'm not saying it. I'll get in
Cheers.
trouble.
And then I definitely won't leave empty-handed with that.
Where's the cowbell? All right, hey, we got just a few seconds. Andy, man, love you, brother. Thank you very much for
Love you, Andy.
Thank you,
growing
Andy.
with us, helping us grow. Derry, as always, every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Derry.
And man,
Thank you.
Mike, you're the man.
My pleasure.
I can't wait. We
Patrick.
cannot wait to have you back.
Take your
So,
can of whoop
My
with you. Not too bad.
Hey, come back tomorrow, please. Listen or starve.
That's right.
This is the only 24-hour Take Anywhere platform